Nika. Here at League Take, and I talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. Welcome. So, I'm going to do a mini book haul. I am making sure. Oh, let me turn this down. I am making sure I can see any chat details as well. But anyway, welcome. I feel like it's been forever. I skipped one weekend. But hello, check out my Five Below shirt. I'm fine. Everything is fine. I will be posting a video later today, which is a little out of my norm. I usually post on Thursday or Friday, but I'll explain in the video so you'll understand why. But I want to talk about this book haul. So it's three books, so it's a mini book haul, but Five Below. So I want to get into them. So I'm going to start with The Witch's Herbal Apothecary Rituals and Recipes for a Year of Earth Magic and Sacred Medicine Making by Marysia Miernovska. So this is the book I got at Five Below. This little book, let me tell you something, this little book is chock full of some great information. So, The Witch's Herbal Apothecary is a magical book of recipes, rituals, materia medica for reconnecting with the power and healing of earth magic. Author Marysia Miernovska is the director of one of California's most renowned herbal schools, named one of the top 15 witches of Instagram by HuffPost. I did not know this, by the way. Mother Earth is a living entity that holds great medicine to heal us physically and spiritually. However, in today's modern world, too many of us are separated from this source of nourishment. Using the wheel of the year as framework, you'll begin to understand the currents of nature and how to weave yourself back into this great web of life. Using the plants, seasons, and cycles of your tools, you will be able to tap into the potent earth magic of life, death, renewal, and rebirth. You will learn ways of growing medicine, harvesting from the wild or home garden, processing plants, and making remedies, all in harmony with the seasons. Each season opens a portal of magic that allows you to harvest the literal and spiritual gifts the earth is offering at that time. The witch's herbal apothecary will awaken the witch, inherent in every wild soul, and guide them into an empowered relationship of healing and magic with the natural world. So this was like a soothing balm reading this book. Now, couple problems. Do you see how small the writing is? It's really small. That can be a problem if you've worked a long day and you've been doing a bunch of things and you sit down and read and you've been staring at screens and it's this small. That's small. I should have silenced my Mac. Sorry about the alerts in the background, the sound. Anyway, but regardless of all that, there's a lot of information in this book. It's small writing, so you're thinking, oh, it's not that many pages. How much can there be? Because the writing is so small, there is a lot of information in here. I'm going to just skip ahead for a moment and talk about the winter rituals and self care, since this is where we are now. Let me backtrack here, make sure I'm in the right spot. Yeah, Earth Magic and Medicine of Winter. So this is that section. I love the illustrations, by the way, in the book. They're really perfect, actually. So, release Earth Magic and Medicine of Winter. This is chapter 7, Release and Rest, Dream and the Void, North Earth the Crone. So they break it down like the portal of North at a glance. The element is Earth, time of day, night, between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. Moon phase, dark. Season of solar year, winter, December, January, February. Earth holy days, Yule, winter solstice, February 2nd. Wheel of Life archetype, Crone, age 64 plus. I am not there yet. Sometimes, okay, side note, I do want to say to people sometimes, like, no one dare ask me specifically, like, oh, well, how old are you? However, occasionally it's asked. So, do you ever want to say something? Well, maybe if you're younger, you don't care about this, but say like some wild, like, I'm 75 years old. And they're like, "You're not 75." Like, "I'm actually 75. Yes, I'm a great grandmother. I'm a great," like, just lie. I don't know, basically, that's my new thing. Anyway, but I'm like, "Why do you need to know how old I am?" Um, and then the energies, dormant, the energy of this winter. Energies are dormant, still, void. Oh, hi, Dylan. I'm looking here. I didn't see. Why is it not popping up on this tablet live chat? Let's see if it comes up now. Now I see it. Hello, Dylan. How are you? Um, but yeah, so dormant, still, void consciousness, the hag, the hermit, solitude, otherworldly, non-doing, recovery, rest. When you watch the video that I post, this all makes sense. And I just purchased these books this week, so I've been kind of reading. I didn't read every single book from cover to cover. Um, so we're going to discover this together on this live. But I did start it reading the beginning part of this book, and I like what I've read so far. I've been watching since the beginning, but my tablet couldn't allow me to comment, so I'm not on laptop to comment. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Okay, so healing herbs, nervines and sedative herbs, hops, kava kava, blue vervain. I have a thing about vervain. Uh, I'm interested in it, the properties of it. Adaptogenic, wisdom, longevity herbs, reishi, eleuthero. I have that. Chaga, gouda cola. I have that. Ashwanda or ashwagandha. Sorry. I think I have that in Tulsi, and I think I have that herb too. I don't know. I might have a mixture. Dreaming herbs, third eye openers, mugwort, blue lotus, passion vine, mugwort, got that on deck. Medicinal mushrooms, reishi, chaga, lion's mane, turkey tail, shiitake, maitake. I don't have. I could get shiitake. I don't know about these other things, but and probably reishi. I'd probably have to go to the international food store that they have here. Wonderful thing about living here in the Phoenix area, there is a plethora of like international food stores. Plethora being, I can think of at least three that I can drive to off the top of my head, but I know there's a few more. I think that's kind of cool. uh, and then it goes on tending the garden. The garden sleeps under mulch of rests under cover crops. Apothecary. These are like the individual sections I'm reading. And then for the apothecary, it says taking shamanic journeys to inquire what kind of medicine wants to be made right now. Winter is often the time to make medicine for immunity and warding off infection with dried herbs or double extractions of medicinal mushrooms. And then rituals of rest, sleep, shamanic journeying, drumming, ayat making, journaling. I wonder if they meant art. It says AAT making, but it's, I don't know. Reading, rituals of tending fire and flame. I'm just created something like that for myself. If need be, drawing on rituals from the south portal to keep the fires burning. Love making. No one talks about that. I love that. Cacao medicine, friction fire. Couple things just about myself and why this book, when I was reading, was like, dang, I'm so on point. Let me pull this over so I can see because the messages are just not coming through. Um, isn't the rain gorgeous? Yes, it is. And yes, this is a cool book. The rain right now, so in I think the greater Phoenix area, like the east, at least the East Valley for sure, it is raining here. Now, you probably think, so what's the fuss? It doesn't really rain here very much. No, not really. So we could go a very long time without rain. So when it does rain, and it's been raining for hours, it's a thing. And like during the day, it's not like it was at night and you slept through it. It's a thing here. So it's really cozy, and my house is really cozy. Um, and yeah, it's yes, I'm enjoying the rain as well. So cacao medicine. So let me tell you something. You had to know I was going to mention rain. I did actually. I was thinking that I was like, I before I started this live, I was like, if Dylan's on here, he's going to say something about the rain. Yes, 100%. I did think of that, and I did think of you when it started raining, and I knew I was coming on this live. But I have been getting into, I guess, not cacao and but hot chocolate. But I'm a little bougie with my brands of hot chocolate. Never Swiss Miss. Like we've grown up. We're past that. So I personally like the Starbucks brand hot chocolate. The dark chocolate one. Oh my God, it's so good. So here's what I do. I use oat milk, heat it up on in a saucepan on a stove, and I add my hot chocolate to it, and make sure that's together. You don't cook it, but you warm it up. Make sure it's dissolved. Pour that into my mug, and then I like to use whipped cream, but I use, because I'm lactose intolerant, so I use the non-dairy version, which is the coconut whipped cream. Oh my God, that is so good. So I put that on top. All I need to do is get me some sprinkles, and it's game over. But yeah, um, marshmallows are cool. I can add that, but I'm okay with just the whipped cream top on top. So that is something I've been doing as well. I like that a lot actually. So I've been craving it. And it does make me feel better and it makes me feel happy. So I like that. It's a nice little treat. Um, but love making, again, a lot of witchy books, and Five Below guys, a lot of witchy books, witchy self-care, whatever, um, they don't really go too much into sex magic for different reasons. I imagine, if that's not, because that's its own book, potentially its own set of chapters. What I would say is, during these times of rest, relaxation, I would add in some of the physical things, some more stretching, not like you shouldn't stretch year round, but like just a little bit more stretching, making sure your body is relaxed, but a good stretch first thing in the morning. Make it Be intentional about it. Do type workouts, I guess, yoga, things of that nature. But along with that, it's time for sensuality. You're indoors more. It's dark and you have soft lighting. The mood is right. So even if you're not in a relationship, you can make this about yourself, if you get my drift. And you can make it special for yourself as well. So use that energy, witches. And anyway, so it goes on, and just gives a little bit of, well, it's a lot of verbiage, like, but it's in really small writing. This would be my complaint. But what's in this book is not what I expected. There's like a lot of good information in here. But anyway, they go into talking about blessing herbs. Winter is the perfect time to weave blessing herbs into your apothecary when the cold winter strengthens the aromatic oils of evergreens, and our spirits journey with sacred smokes into the darkness of the night. Burning blessing herbs at the new moon is also magical for helping us enter the portal of the north. They go on into about that. They talk about pine oil. Pine oil is such a magical oil that is easy to make in abundance and is utterly divine. Whenever I smell pine oil, I think of Sage Morar, who taught me how to make it and who pours copious amounts of the beautiful oil she makes from her land into hot baths, an evergreen queen. Not only is a hot bath with pine oil deeply relaxing and grounding, it also opens the heart and respiratory system, calms the mind, and centers us in an open heart. It is a wonderful oil to use if you're sick with a cold or flu. A sweet dreams tea. This tea is wonderfully relaxing. I formulated for a woman struggling with insomnia. I might need to look more into this tea because I have moments. Anyway, it has sedative herbs that help support a full night's sleep, nervines that calm the mind, and plants that comfort the heart and spirit. So it goes on. Here's why I probably won't try it. The stevia leaf and licorice root give it a pleasantly sweet and aromatic flavor without the artificial taste that stevia extracts often have. I will tell you, I do not like licorice root. I have discovered this about myself. It is in a lot of teas, like a lot of teas. It is supposed to be bringing this sweetness to it, natural sweetness. I can taste it. I don't care what the blend is. I can taste it and I do not like it. So I have found that out the hard way, how much I do not like licorice root. Anyway, but moving on. But this tea blend is hops, lemon balm, passion vine, linden leaf and flower, motherwort, licorice root, oat straw, eleuthero root, chamomile flowers, valerian root, California poppy, skullcap, holy basil, and stevia leaf. And then there's rise tea, I rise tea. So this tea blend draws on the grounding, aptogenic, nourishing properties of medicinal roots, similar to the sweet, spicy, alive, and awake tea blend found in the spring portal. So there's a whole section about that. But let me tell you, this tea has eleuthero root, burdock root, dandelion root, astragalus root, astragalus. I've never heard of that, so I have to find out about that. Marshmallow root and Ceylon cinnamon chips, licorice root again, and ginger root. So I don't know. I might have to make some changes if I try that tea. Winter rituals and self care. They talk about doing a herbal sauna, sound baths, pink Himalayan salt lamps. Be a cat. If you have a cat, you can learn what restorative rest looks like by observing the luxuriation of naps on the floor where a beam of light hits. Be a cat for hours. I agree. I'm not really much of a cat person, but I get what the author is talking about, and I can see how that can be helpful. And then observe a day of silence as another thing. So it breaks down plants. So the reishi, which is I think that's like a mushroom type thing or herb or something. Uh, and then mugwort, it breaks down what mugwort is, comfrey, hop. So a lot of the stuff that they were talking about. Um, yeah, so that's the section on winter. So this particular book, I don't know, I thought it was a lot of information in here, um, like good information, and it was compact, so it didn't go on and on. Sometimes I don't, not sometimes, all the times, I don't really like books that just, it's like, okay, I got the point the first time you told me, you're just repeating it. There is a book that has great recipes, and it's a good book, but the first part of the book, the introduction, is just the author just going on and freaking on. Oh my gosh, just like she kept repeating the same thing over and over again. And I like the author. But anyway, they go into talking about like what is a green witch, breaking down the wheel of the year in a way that I think is approachable, understandable, a little bit more high level, but at the same time, if you're a seasoned witch, you're like, oh, okay, you might learn a little something that you didn't think about before. But this section on plants as conscious beings, how to work with herbs. And she goes on, when I began to teach people how to communicate with plants, most think they cannot do it. And, quote, sure, I can see how a shaman can do it or someone who grew up in the jungle and intact culture of natural medicine. But me, a modern person, I won't be able to. And then she says, that's wrong. Hate when they repeat a lot. I think repeating once is fine. Exactly. Oh my God. I don't want to say the book because I really like it and I don't want to do that. But this author, this is a book that I reference quite often. And she just kept talking about the same thing, like verbatim. And I'm like, does she not think a reader understands okay, I'll give you twice. But like, I felt like, was she looking for more words? Did she not have an editor? I don't know. Anyway, so I want to get to the part where she's talking about doing it. Where I wish I didn't want to highlight the book, and also it was like shiny paper, so it would have just bled a little bit. We can all learn directly from them, the plants that is. Many of us already doing it without being aware. Maybe you've reached for ginger at the grocery store, then realize a few days later that you're coming down with a cold and needed it. Or perhaps you're struggling with indigestion, so you make yourself a mint tea. In both cases, you're communing with plants. You are drawing on your own embodied experience on what your body has learned directly from these plants. And you can build on this in magical ways. That's my fear, repeating myself when I'm writing my book. Yes. Hi, gemstones. Yes, yes, I know, right? Or for me, because it's fiction, worse, like, and you're speaking of something in the magical world or something like that, and like you forget that, you gave this person a certain power and you talked about it in this chapter, and then you never talk about it again and they never use it. So it was like, what was the point? That's something I have to catch myself doing, for completely forgetting about this character, because they were part of the plot but not the biggest part of the plot. So but that thing was a thing anyway. Yeah, that's a problem for me. But yeah, this book is chock full of some just information. The wise woman tradition of healing, it goes into that. And I like that the imagery is diverse. Like, look at that. So it's a guy, and I like that too. So there's some illustration in here, and it's like like if you can, is this showing up? Yeah, they have like different types of women in the book. And I like that. Like this is really cool. I feel like it's really inclusive. Um, just a little bit more of the colorful imagery. I like that. The embodied apothecary and elements of magic. It's beautifully written. I'll tell you that right now. Like the section on sacred harvesting, harvesting like a gardener to encourage more growth. And they give a step by step sacred harvesting section. That's really good. Preparing your home apothecary, like the practical matters, the glass jars, labels, dark colored dropper bottles, all that sort of stuff. But she doesn't dwell. She doesn't dwell on it. That's what I like. Um, yeah. So this was a nice little find. I didn't go to Five Below looking for this book, but this book found me. So I would, yes, this is something you want to add to your magical library, your witchy library for sure. Yeah, forgetting about the characters. That's the thing, like to be careful with, but we all try. So this is the other book that I got. Spellcraft, a guided journal for casting, cleansing, and blessing. So I thought this would be a good time of year to do that. The illustrations are really nice in the book as well. I like the pages. It's pretty simple, the book. So it has a welcome section. I like, again, just the way the pages are pretty thick. Wheel of the Year. This starts at Imbal, Condalamas. Anyway, it starts with there and it starts with a spell. So it jumps right in, and then words of wisdom. And then, so here's how it's set up, right? You know what? Let's skip. We're going to find Yule. Let's go to Yule, because then we can actually winter solstice Yule. So the winter solstice, usually December 21st, but this can fluctuate as we all know, is the shortest day of the year, and Yule symbolizes that even during the darkest days, the sun will still return to us. It's a time for reflection and to focus on things that really matter. Traditional witchery would have you light a Yule log decorated with a wreath and other burnables while meditating on what will bring you most happiness and light for the rest of the cold winter. However, if you can't burn a log due to where you live, I don't know where a log is. An alternative is to have a Yule altar. Okay, that's what we've done. So anyway, they tell you what to use. Wide cylindrical log, rosemary, sage, lavender, tea lights, athame or needle, red candle, green candle, and a white candle, and it gives you the process. So this is the part where you write. And it says here, there's a prompt. Yule is a time for reflecting on the previous year and to ruminate on how the darkest night can bring us some of the warmest memories. So, what are some memories that you wish to remember and cherish? And you would journal that here. And then it's more. So, reflect on the light you have experienced and write about the joys you hope to draw into the coming year. And then, what are some things you can leave in the past year, and how will doing this create space in your life? Great question. So that's the section on Yule. So this was like the will of the year, the first start. Then there's the creativity and creation section. So I see what it's doing here. Candle magic for creativity. So you get the spell and then you get the journal prompts. So it looks like you get three. This must be a larger one because you got 2 pages and then the third prompt. So this is pretty cool as well. Let me get to this. In my book, I'm not really going to mention the Wheel of the Year since that's more of a pagan thing. Oh, okay. Yeah, the Wheel of the Year. I don't, yeah, and well, I abandoned the project. I didn't abandon, that's not the right word. I put it on pause and I just started something totally different that has been really cathartic, interesting, cleansed, and challenging in a good way to write. And it's not magical. So, um, yeah. So so I'm on something else right now. But I'll go back to the other one. I use NaNoWriMo to do plotting for the new book, and I like where it's going. So anyway, incense ritual for difficult tasks. So they give you That, and then more prompts. So let's go to the next section for this book. Courage and Hope. So good vibes only cleansing bath. So you get this uh, spell, I guess, and then you get prompts. So that's pretty cool. So let me go to the next section. Peace and harmony. So you kind of get where this book is building. So you write, you get to do something and then you can write as well. Oh, not magical, interesting, and a new challenge. Yes, not this particular book. Um, I there's an author that I follow on AuthorTube. She's on YouTube. They call that AuthorTube. Anyway, and she warns about if you enjoy writing and you tend to have this thing where you're always looking for the new shiny thing over here, so the new book project. So I was putting it off, but a very good friend of mine mentioned to me that they think that I have been talking about it. I feel comfortable talking to them about like ideas and things like that. And it was like, that's your book. Because I've been talking about how I've been stalling, like it's taking too long. Why can't I pull it together? What's wrong with me? And it was like the book that, I told them this other thing and this story. And then I started adding more details. And it was like, that's the book. That's the book. I was like, but this isn't what I would normally do. Like, this is where I want to go. And it was like, but that's your book. I was like, that is my book. So I started writing it. That is my book. And you go with it. It's a gamble, but I'm gonna do this anyway. But this one here. So I picked this up here, The Alchemy of Your Dreams, a modern guide to the ancient art of lucid dreaming and interpretation by Athena Laz. By the way, who is this book by? Did they ever say the author's name? Did I miss that? No. Okay. So anyway, roughly one third of our lives are spent sleeping. We know that sleep is vital for rest and rejuvenation, but what if this time could be used for something more? What if our dreams really are telling us something? Psychologist and dream expert Athena Laz has dedicated her career to uncovering the wisdom of our dreams. Packed with exercises and step by step instructions, The Alchemy of Your Dreams teaches readers how to interpret their dreams in order to achieve more in their waking lives. From improved mental well being to enhanced spirituality, this groundbreaking book provides a roadmap to decoding your dreams to uncover your innate guidance, learning ancient art of lucid dreaming, rekindling the connections to your unconscious and subconscious mind through your dreams, understanding the specific dream figures and symbols that appear in your dreams, exploring the world of consciousness and gaining clarity on who you really are, and unleashing creativity and overcoming past pain for greater well being. That is a lot for this book. But anyway, for anyone who's ever felt that their dreams have true import and meaning, this book provides the exact tools needed to unravel their symbolism and harness their power to transform their life. So that's all this book is saying it is. So this one's a little thicker. And it's small. It's not that small writing. It's spaced out more. It's better on the eyes. I am really disappointed with this other book on how the writing was just like, I don't know who made that decision to make like it's so even the back cover, like I have it up, but that's pretty small. And I don't have like problems reading up front, so I don't have an issue. I can't see distances, but I can see right in my face. That's not a problem. So I don't know. It's just weirdly small to me, but this is just right. So I want to get to the nitty gritty of this book. Liminal space between being awake and sleep. Let's get into that section because that's what I thumbed through when I was in the store. Which so okay, so I would like to take you on a journey to the precipice of being awake and asleep. So for a moment, please close your eyes and simply think about the experience you have as you're about to fall asleep. You know, the drowsy feeling when you're zoning in and out just before you're about to fall into slumber. And that moment, you're actually crossing into the liminal space between wakeful and sleep consciousness. Scientifically speaking, this in between stage of consciousness is known as the gogic state. Is it gogic? I should ask my daughter. I can't. She would know. She's good with the medical terms. Anyway, so in this state, you're neither fully awake nor fully asleep, and we've all experienced that, right? Do I keep a dream journal? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I have I'm a notebook queen. I keep notebooks by my bedside at all times, like little notebooks I pick up. Some I have about three different notebooks, uh, bedside, either actually on my bedside or in the drawer of the nightstand, ready just to write anything down just in case. So, and with that change, what you perceive begins to change. The word itself means to lead into sleep. So, this stage shows that we actively experience consciousness on a continuum. There is a spectrum of consciousness between being awake, being asleep, and dreaming. Um, I this kind of stuff fascinates me. I don't know about you. So they go in and they break that whole thing down. I won't go through the whole thing. Um, Let me see. What was the? I was looking to see if they had an exercise we could talk about. Oh, they go more into the hypnopompic state. Now, if you can walk your consciousness from waking into dreaming, can you then walk it back from dreaming into waking? Interesting. I don't keep a dream journal. Oh, the suffix of hypno comes from the Greek god hypnos, the god of sleep. Isn't that wonderful that so much of that language, wonderful in a sense that a lot of people don't realize that these words, there's more to it than the word. I was thinking of the word extraordinary today because my daughter wanted me to watch this concert performance by Stray Kids, is a K-pop band, a group, and they just put out something called ordinary, ordinary, and I was looking at the word, and yes, I was looking at that word, and I was like, I like the play on that ordinary. And I was like, extraordinary, but it's like extraordinary. And I was like, when you really think about it, what is it to be extraordinary? Then I started breaking down, well, extra, what is extra? The EX and all that stuff. Anyway, so I was just like really going off in my mind about that earlier today. And I don't know, I found it very soothing to think about that. Um, oh, okay. Jim, so you, oh, wait, you're the same, gemstones about the dream. I didn't catch that. The dream journal etymology. Yeah, I know there's something to be said. It could be very interesting, but then, as with most things, you ever notice some people kind of just go like a little too far with it? Um, I don't know. So let me see. Oh, that finally a free writing exercise, discovering the I am. Do you believe that you're part of consciousness, or do you believe you just experience consciousness? This is a big question that I hope you'll honor by spending some time exploring what it means to you. If you can control your actions and your dreams, then who or what is controlling the whole landscape? The following exercise is designed to help you explore your own answers to these big questions. So they said you'll need a pen and a notebook, a time and a place where you won't be disturbed. And when you're ready, simply finish this statement: I am. The idea with free writing is that you just write whatever comes to mind. Don't worry about being grammatically correct or neat. Just write and write. You should keep going until you feel that you've exhausted this statement. Once I did this exercise, and it took me around an hour to complete, and on another occasion, it took me about 10 minutes. The time it takes is irrelevant. What's important is that you really go for it and try to exhaust all possible I ams. This is a great exercise to come back to over and over again if you feel like self criticism or self importance has a hold on you. And I totally agree with this. I like the idea of this. A lot of people don't know how many words come from mythology and paganism. I know, right? Please. There are certain people I say that to, they're like, that sounds like it's of the devil. And I'm like, it's all of the devil. How about that? Anyway, so she gives examples on this exercise. I am consciousness experiencing itself. I am spirit expressing itself. I am a son. I am a man. I am a woman. I am alive. I am peaceful. I am a peaceful activist. I'm an engineer, mother, friend, lover, wife, whatever. I am handing this over to you. So once you're finished this exercise, go back and scratch out any identifiers of yourself that can change. For example, anything that you can lose or that can change over time, like your job title or your hair color. When you do this, two things happen. The first is that you uncover your own beliefs about who you are, for better or worse. The second is that you dive deep into your own beliefs of permanence and impermanence. Well, in this book, very five below, um, it's yes, it's yeah. You already know the Aries part of it. I, we're all the devil. Anyway, this is a very deep. I love a good deep thinking book that doesn't just tell me things, just facts, but it makes me think. It makes me ask myself questions as well. So I do appreciate that as well, having books like that. And I appreciate that it was only $5. So then this book goes more into traveling to specific destinations in lucid dreams. So now that you've discovered some of the more helpful practical applications of what you can do in a lucid dream, let's explore traveling in the dreamscape. So they go on. Let's see. If, for example, if you want to have a lucid dream in which you see Egypt and the pyramids, you will need to set the intention to do so. The intention could be, I will lucid dream tonight. When I recognize that I am dreaming, I will visit the pyramids in Egypt. Be very clear with your words because the way you word things or intend things can influence your lucid dream. For example, if you worded your intentions, I see the pyramids in Egypt, you may have a lucid dream in which you pick up a travel brochure with images of the pyramids on the front cover. In essence, you've incubated your lucid dream, but not exactly for the results you were hoping for. So, once again, the words you choose matter. Be as specific and concise as possible. All right. And then they go on, shape shifting in your lucid dreams. If you use your lucid dreaming as a practice, go beyond your perceived identity of separation, you'll discover something incredible. Interesting. So in lucid dream, you can also morph into something other than you. You can shapeshift. You can dream yourself into becoming a bird, a plant, or even a different gender or race. Where's the exact way to? Well, I guess the intention is you tell yourself you're going to do it and you're going to do it. Practical exercise: releasing control of the outcome in lucid dreams. Step one: set the intention that you'll be safe, protected, and at ease during the lucid dream, one in which you'll be shown what you need to know. What do you think of people saying that they astral project and go to Area 51 and there's a barrier around the place? What do I think? I don't think that listen, I'll say this. As time goes by, I am no longer, I'm less skeptical about things. I'm becoming less so because it feels with discernment, because I'm not going down the rabbit hole of just believing anything. However, I don't know. I do feel there's something to be said for that. A lot of it is exploited, for capitalistic points of views to sell things to get you to listen to someone's podcast or channel or whatever. So they keep talking about it. But outside of that world where that's all they're talking about, I think it's something to be said for that. I know a friend of a friend who had experience where they said they felt like they should not, like they couldn't go there. Um, they were physically trying to travel. They wanted to get close. Do you remember something? Was this in 2020? People were talking about this. They were going to go. I don't know. I think some people actually did try to go, but they couldn't get in. Anyway, yeah, I think there's a barrier. And where's the other section? I think it's in um, Antarctica. Something is going on there as well. Which, why would there not be something going on? Even if it's not what we think, I think there's still something else going on there that they being, maybe it's the government, maybe there's private entities, and it is the government, but it's really, some very expensive facility that, like, someone in the top 1% is really controlling, because they're really controlling the world. Anyway, that's not a conspiracy, that's real. They own politicians, they own our governments, but anyway, Um, these, yeah, I think there's something going on, and I think it's something that they don't want us to know, even in that way. Listen, I personally have had experience with astral projection. I didn't mean to do this particular this experience. It wasn't intentional, but I was being guided by a spirit, that a ghost, if you will, a spirit that had passed on, that came back, that wanted me to help their son, and they assisted with the astral projection, and it felt real. Like I knew I was there, but I knew whole me wasn't there, but I was there. And I was in a facility that I'd never seen before. I'd never been in. I will never hope to be in. It was a prison. um, and I saw the intended person, and yeah, that was a wicked experience, because I just wanted to bring them out. I just wanted to hug them. I knew they shouldn't be there. Um, yeah, I get emotional thinking about it, because I'm in control. I'm experiencing it. I talk to them. I just there was the initial shock of holy shit, I'm here. There was that initial shock, but yeah, I really did. Now, I also, and I didn't think of it that way, and in the past I didn't describe it that way, but I've been having conversations about astral projecting recently, actually. Um, the raid on Area 51, I think that was 2019 or 18. Was that 2019? I don't know. The years are running together. Ever since 2020, I don't know. I can't differentiate anything from that point on. 2020 and 2021 are the same year. I feel like I'm in year two of that, but technically we're going on year three, 2023. It's a weird time. Anyway, but I really, so the other thing I was talking about is I would talk about going when I would meet with my ancestors. Mind you, I never saw anyone's actual face. They were always figures, shadowy, dark figures with hoods. The fire was real, and there was always a gigantic cauldron, but I never saw like the outlines. I couldn't tell you that's exactly what it was. I just knew that's what it was. I could see it, but not details. Everything was encased in a lot of darkness except for that light that they were allowing for me. I felt like that was for my benefit. And I was never within the group, I was always on the edge, always on the same side, because I'm not of them yet. You know what I mean? I'm not there yet. The gratefully, I'm very much in this plane of existence alive. So anyway, I realized that's what I was doing, because I was still me, very much myself, very much in control of my thoughts, my feelings, senses, all of that is still very much there. But I knew I wasn't physically there, but I wasn't dreaming. It wasn't a lucid dreaming situation. This was intentional. And I didn't realize for the longest time that's what that is. I'm just seeing, and I'm having conversations. They're giving me wisdom in like nonverbal ways by, allowing me to peer into the gigantic cauldron with the fire underneath, and, sip from it to heal. I've been healed literally. Like, I do believe I may have ingested something. I don't want to say poison. That sounds a lot more dramatic than what it is, but poison, and something poisonous, something that I do, really do. It sounds real dramatic, but I won't get into all that. But anyway, but it was at the time. So it's the middle of the night, and everyone else in the house is knocked out, but I am very sick. I was getting so sick, and I was getting very scared because it came over me so abruptly. And then I wasn't asleep, and I was just like trying to calm myself and just thinking healing energy, and I slipped into this state very easily, and then I was there with them, and I'll never forget this. And they dipped some vessel to scoop out, and they poured it in, and I was trying to think, do I taste anything? I remember having these thoughts like, I don't do I taste anything? Is it soup? What am I tasting? And then I was gone and I was back in myself. And I was like, and then I felt like, oh, and then everything came up, and then I felt better. So I really believe they gave me something to heal me through astral projection, and I will stand by that. So that's why I'm not skeptical of anybody else. That is, yeah, you said it's amazing. The whole thing that was a very amazing experience, but I would continue to meet with that. Now, I'll be honest, it has been a little longer than I would like that I've done that recently. And I think that ties into a bigger picture of stuff that's been going on with me. Um, I have a video I'm going to post after this live, and I'll go into details about that. But yeah, so it's just interesting. The spiritual where it meets, you know, the muggle world and your mundane life and all that sort of stuff. When I first started working with deities in 2017, I remember getting sick a few times. I could hear Apollo give me directions on how to help me recover faster. Do I go into meditative state? Yes. Yes, I do. When I'm in, you I did not think that what I was doing for and I've been doing this for years, by the way, for years. This has been going on for a number of years. So I just thought that's actually what I would say. Well, I'm just going into this meditative state. I think I've even talked about it in videos. Well, I go into a meditative state, and with my third eye, I envision. And that's how I have seen it. And that's a very simple way, I guess, of describing what I've been experiencing, but I've been I recently had a conversation with someone, an elder of mine, and they were talking a little about astral projection. I was talking about actually in a group setting as well. And I was like, wait a minute. that's, it's, wait, so that's what I was doing. Okay, so that's what that means. So anyway, yeah, astral projection. Yeah. Um, Very intentional. Has it been occurring before you became a witch or no? No, when I became a witch. Actually, specifically when I was, I'm trying to think. No, in the beginning, no. I don't recall. If I was doing it, I don't recall. I'll just be honest. It's possibility. I don't remember anything. There's nothing that stood out because language matters, right? And definitions and understanding of things. You could be doing something and you don't realize that's what it is. And I think there's a lot of people, especially if you're not a witch or you don't have an official teacher or, someone to guide you. You don't know. So for years, maybe it's possible, but I don't really remember any specific event that I could say, oh, that was probably astral projection. But I know now this was. And it's just interesting to find that out. I've been calling it something else, but that's what it is. And I've been very concerned at why I haven't been doing that lately. I believe when we get into spiritual stuff, it definitely unlocks. Uh, Wait, it went away on the screen. Unlocks uh, untapped potential, aka abilities. I agree. Like this thing that a new ability unlocked is like I sometimes can hear things, but not in a way like I'm schizophrenic or having a mental health crisis. I've checked just in case. But no, this is this is very different. And I tested this out because I kept hearing numbers. So I went, as most people, when you hear numbers, I would go play those numbers. And I won. I won the lottery. Now, obviously, I didn't win very big because this whole thing in the background would have changed. Not very much. I still my style, but yeah, I'd be in a different location. But I did win some money, on the lottery, just so you know, I did win. But yeah, and then here's the other piece. I shared these numbers with other people and they won on those same numbers. So no one won the big one, but we did win actual money with these numbers. So in different states, and we all didn't play the same lottery. They played like their local, state. Let me tell you something. That was a moment like, holy crap. So now I'm like trying to replicate the situation again. Like, y'all want to tell me those numbers again? Give me some more numbers. I need more numbers. It's like tapping the Akashic records. Ah, yes. I studied high level a little bit about that, but not very deep. Honestly, I just, I won't say that. I will maybe go back into that a little bit again. Sometimes I think for me, when I'm studying things, I feel like if I don't, if it doesn't grab me, and if it's not whatever the resource I'm using, whether it's a video or a book, because sometimes that could be it. The way it's being delivered, the information is being delivered to you. Uh, but if I don't receive the message, I'd put it down and I'll come back to it because maybe at that time it wasn't meant for me. Maybe I wasn't going to be able to put it to use, or, I don't know. I don't think it's meant for me at that time. Like in junior year, I had my drop ability to know how that it's going to rain that year. And that was 3 years in. 2017 was another time of unlocking an ability, which was 5 years in. Wow. Over time, yeah, I should do a video about abilities and how they unlock the deeper you go. Um, that would be interesting. Like, okay, I can just high level, all right, just so when I first started getting intentionally into witchcraft, right? Uh, I was all of a sudden aware of like sounds and like every house, your house, if you don't have anything on, or even if you have like someone's in another room, they have a TV or something on in the background. You're accustomed to the noises in the home. But at night, when everything is off and you can hear the breathing, snoring, if you have that in your household, but just paying attention to the noises. And then I started wondering about spirits and things like that. And I would play this little game and sort of think it, and then I would say it in a low tone out loud if I asked a question and wait to see if there was any noises or reactions. And yes, there were at times, not every time, I'll be honest, not every time, but I would do that. And then I was like, I think I'm becoming more in tune with the spiritual world. And then go up to now I'm doing stuff like the next ability I don't know. Well, was that really the next ability I'm on? Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. I don't know. This standing out. So like this dream thing, where people I'm close to, I can dream not just about them, but they'll have a dream at the same time I'm dreaming, and we'll have different. We'll be in the same place, but we don't necessarily see each other. But we're having similar experiences, but from different point of views. So that ability was unlocked many years ago with a good friend of mine. I did not like that. I was her in the dream. And when I described, it was a nightmare technically for me. She said that's exactly what she had been through. That's been her experience. And I said, that sucks because I thought I was going to die in that dream. I was drowning in the dream. I was drowning. I was in a closet, a hall closet, like a laundry closet in the hallway of my house. And the world, like everybody, the kids, everybody's walking around the house, but the room I'm in is filling up, like in a movie, where like it fills up with water. And even though it should come out, it's not. It's just contained in this laundry closet. And I'm like banging, like, help me. And no one is helping me. And at the same time, I know I could open the door, but for some reason, I'm just not doing it and I'm drowning. And I knew I wasn't me. That's the crazy part in this dream. I will always remember this. I knew I was her. I think somehow I saw like a reflection on me, but I'm her, this friend of mine, and I told her, and that was her existence. That's how she was feeling, like she's overwhelmed, literally drowning. And everyone around her is just like going on with life as normal. And she felt like she couldn't breathe, like, but that was her everyday existence. And I tapped, you want to talk about empath. And that was overwhelming for me because that dream freaked me out. One, I should probably tell you, I didn't know how to swim. So that's why that was freaking me out so bad because it felt very real. That was a new thing on a level of empath in a way that being an empath in a way that I'd never experienced. By the way, that still happens to me. So I'm in a coven. So sometimes, not every, not this is not all the time, but it has happened on several occasions where I will have a dream and I will have this experience, and they are there, like in the other room. I'm describing, and they're describing from their end, and on the same night. It's wild, but yeah, that's the thing that I do. Again, with people I'm close to. This is not like about so far ahead, unless there's a new thing coming. It's not a thing where like people I just kind of know and it happens. It's usually people that I know very closely. We're close. Um, that I had that sort of experience. And then other things that have unlocked, like just this knowing, like intuition, just like on a 100 of this, just knowing, like thought forms pop into your head, and I'm aware of it. I call them thought forms. So you're talking, okay, in the most practical sense, someone's talking to you, they're explaining something, and you just know they're lying. They didn't do anything. They sound, everybody else in the room is like, why would you think they were lying? Like they showed you the pictures, like, but you know they're lying. And then later it comes out they were lying. That sort of stuff. Like highly intuitive. I'm trying to catch up with the comments here. In 2017, when I started working with the deities, and holy crap, I was psychic. That, yeah. Asking questions to spirits in their home and getting answers maybe from knocking. Okay, Jim says, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, I like that too. I had a crazy experience where I don't know whether I'm dreaming, and my mom had the same dream at the same age in the same bedroom. The experience was of jumping from the top of the stairs and landing at the bottom, then walking up. Oh my God. Stuff like that gives me chills. And by the way, can I just say, I'm glad that where I'm at in my practice and my spirituality, I still get the chills. Be wary, in my opinion, of practitioners, spiritualists, occultists who just never seem to be amazed. They've seen it all. And it's like, no, there's always more. And also, I get chills from other people experiencing it because I have an idea of what that's like. And I basically am connecting with you, like, oh my God, if that was me, like, I don't know, I connect with people that way. I think it's odd when people feel like they've experienced it all, like they're done with life. Because if you've experienced it all and you're just so above it all and you no longer get the chills, you no longer get excited, then aren't you just done with life? And that's the case, then you're dead. I mean, I'm just being honest. Aren't you done at that point? Be careful with that. There's always room to expand and to learn and to experience. Um, do you think that TV psychic shows could lose their ability because of the pressure to get answers for TV? 100%. I used to like watching in the beginning Long Island Medium. One, two others. She sounds, funny. To me, it sounds normal because I'm from New Jersey, so I've heard people talk like that. That was normal to me. Well, Long Island is New York, but same thing, like that East Coast New York, Jersey accent type situation. It's not so foreign to me. Um, and I got a kick out of the hair and her just, talking to people and answering questions and just walking up. I thought it was really interesting and I really did enjoy the show. However, eventually, no. I think I lost interest in that show. And I don't want to say in her, but I felt like it felt made for TV. If if you watch the show, you know what I'm talking. It felt like after a while, like, all right, y'all, come on. Um, yeah, yeah, you've seen it all. No, yeah, you have not exactly. And Tyler Henry, is that the guy on Netflix? I've seen a few of those episodes because I was very curious. But eh, I'd love to see you do more videos about your work with ancestors. You know what? Now that let me tell you something. I'm on this. That was eye opening for me to realize that was astral projection. Like, please understand, I've been like thinking, like, well, holy crap. Which now Dylan asked that question, like, well, have you done this, in the beginning of your, when you weren't a witch? And I'm like, have I? I don't know. Because that's why it's so important to understand things, right? To know to know what it is, what you're doing, what's this called, what is this process. It can help frame it better. And I just didn't know. I feel the same when they have psychics on the news. Um, yes, and he had a show before Netflix on E or Bravo. I don't think I watched it, or maybe I did. I don't know, but I know I've seen the Netflix. Um, oh, Crystal Journals. Yeah. Hello. Your profile picture reminds me so much of a relative I have of mine, but there is no way y'all are the same people because unless she's living a double life, um, I doubt it. She is very much into the church, like very much. She's on Instagram right now, quoting Bible scriptures. Like that's the last Instagram post I saw of her last, like yesterday. Anyway, but anyway, you're it's she's a pretty girl. That's why I saw she's your picture is pretty too. I went outside today in the rain and wondered how and why about my rain abilities. Uh, I did not go outside. I watched it from the window and felt very cozy inside. I didn't want to go in the rain. Okay, let me tell you about the rain here that keeps me from wanting to experience it. Because it's so dirty. The air is so dirty. You know, it's there's just always dirt in the air. So I feel like it's just like mud coming out of the atmosphere, coming out of the sky. I don't know. I didn't want to experience that, but I don't know. At some point, maybe I'll get over it and just bathe in the rain, especially since it doesn't rain here very much. But it's just so dirty. You know what I'm talking about. Maybe if I put then I have to wash my hair, and I just added this little color in it. I'd like to let this. I need this to stay for a couple days because it washes out. Arizona rain can make you sick sometimes. It's very acidic. Ah, oh, cats meow. I've gone through a deliverance at a church that wouldn't let me up when I kept telling them to please release me, but they kept pinning me down and holding my left arm stretched out in pain for hours. Oh my God. I didn't know that, Crystal. Okay. First of all, the rain, I 100% believe you. Um, and wow, that is terrifying. Um, that would be a problem for me. I don't like being held down. I mean, I don't know how many people, well, actually, we do know that is a thing for some people. They do like to be held down, the whole bondage thing. So I know for some people that's a thing. That is not a thing for me. That would freak me out. Like I would be screaming at that point. Um, but I can see I get it because I grew up in that environment. And I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying I understand the rationale because they think it's a ritual that's happening, right, in their world. And I imagine that, you know, they're the demon is coming out of you. The demon is fighting. So they got to pin you down so the demon comes out. I'm guessing. I would have been yeah, pissed. Exactly. Um, like why again there's this I okay I'm gonna go into a tangent. I can't help it, but thank you cats meow for bringing this up. I want to know if I've been going through a hex, a curse, because I have very bad health issues on my left side. Oh, you are thank you for asking this question. Okay, so my mother asked me recently if I've been she said, did somebody put something on you? Those were her exact words because I have been going through some stuff, right? And it didn't add up because I was not going through anything. Cat's meow. I don't know if this is your experience, but everything had been going wonderful, and then I hit this point. Now there's a health reason to explain it, but at the same time, it's just very interesting that I'm having the experience because I've been using these this drug this whole time, prescription this whole time, and now it's been over a year, and now I'm having these experiences, right? And there's some other stuff happening in my world. So where you know I used to prod and I was like, I don't have any enemies. If someone's my enemy, I don't know you're my enemy. And this person, I think they think they're my enemy. So it doesn't matter if I think they're an enemy. They believe they're my enemy or I'm their enemy. it doesn't matter. But once someone has put you in that position, it is possible. And here's the thing, this is a holy roller type. However, they are of the same bloodline as myself, and I know that we are witches. So, with that being said, yes, they have the ability to curse me. And because we are of the same blood, it would be more effective because they have a direct line to me. So when my mother asked me that, who I should tell you is not someone who would ever really ask that question, that was saying something that she asked that. And it wasn't a thing where it was right off the top of her head. She was like, "Do you think somebody put something on you?" Like she said it like that. And I was like, "Has someone put something on me? I didn't think so." Anyway, moving on. So this is a very recent thing. So to you, Cat's Meow, it is possible someone has put something on you. And I don't know your situation, but I think it's more effective if you're going to put something on somebody if you're related to them. You have the lines, you can draw it right back to that person. Ideally, you would hope family members are not hexing each other, but we know it's possible that they do, unfortunately. And in my case, I have had to evolve my thinking even more about that because I didn't want to think about that. I didn't want to think this, but I've come to the realization I do believe because this person has become almost obsessive. So we're not dealing with rational thought anymore. And I think there's a whole other thing going on with them, but it doesn't matter what I think if they're not going to address it and they're just, causing harm, including to myself. So, and I was open to this person before. I should probably add that too. And I think that has something to do with it. So yes, I think it's possible. Yes, especially if you think it. In my case, I didn't want to believe. I was kind of in a space. I was opening up to my mom about what I've been going through, and she was like, and she just said that. Now she could have went any direction on the stuff I told her, but that's what she went. And I didn't even talk about anything witchy or necessarily spiritual. It sound more mental health than and physical issues rather than that. But that's where she went with. And I believe she said that for a reason. And I'm grateful that I received that message because I've been able to correct that once. It's kind of like once you, like in demonology, they say if a demon is after you, if you know the demon's name, you can undo whatever they're doing. So you can kill them or stop them. Same thing. Once you know where the hex is coming from, you can reverse it. Let me get back to that. Yeah. There could be trauma stored there from experienced gemstones. Very true. Uh, oh, you're welcome. Cat's meow. That could be a possibility. Yep. The evil eye. Sometimes I wonder if I've been cursed, but I don't know who would want to do that to me. I don't know if I have an enemy or not. That's the thing. If you live your life in a way where you're not, I mean, I walk around, first of all, I'm almost always in the house, but even in the internet world, I'm never intentionally mean spirited. I have strong opinions about things and some people, but it's not coming from out of nowhere. I don't attack people because of their looks or just their beliefs. I would attack the belief itself because maybe I think it's detrimental to somebody else. It's harming others or potentially you. But I'm not a mean spirited person, is my point. So I don't think that way. And I don't think people are, I don't know, because I'm not doing it, I don't think anybody's doing it to me. But I've had to revise that lately. And this is someone who means harm. They have proven themselves to mean harm. So now I know, and it's not just one person. Power in numbers. So yeah, I think they are doing some work. I really do. Um, I use crystals and cord cutting for that and crystal grids. Thank you, Gemstone. So cord cutting, I definitely get with. I'm actually waiting to use that for another purpose. But man, you know what? The thing about cord cutting, truly, it can be very emotional. You need to be ready for that because for this is family. This is, even though they mean well, I mean harm, and they've exhibited in actual physically so to other family members, like, it's still like, dang, that's so hard to do. But that might be something. Thank you for that, gemstones. Oh, it hurts thinking about it because I know what that means. I know all of the intentions behind doing a proper cord cutting. And it's a big deal, you know. So I'll keep that in mind. Crystal grids, I love that for protection. I'm big on that. Do I need to do a reverse spell on myself to get rid of it? I have the same mentality. A reverse spell, yes, I would. It wouldn't hurt. Or if at the minimum a return to sender spell, you return that energy right back, and that'll give you an idea, by the way, of who might have sent it to you, who might have tried to put that on you, because and times three. I allow a little pettiness to come in, so I don't want to just return it. I want to return it times three. So whatever you put on me, you threefold for you. I've been thinking of doing a cord cutting on my dad, but I live with him and I wouldn't know the outcome of that spell. Yeah, I would pause. Listen, okay, prime example, I'm giving an example with relationships. So you're going through the end of the relationship, you're going through it. I would advise not doing a cord cutting when you're actively in the process. When you're on the other side, and you are physically no longer in the space with the person, everybody, you got your own edge, everything's separated. That's when, that to me, that's the final piece, the cord cutting. Kind of like if you're divorcing. So when the divorce is final, a part of the ceremony you do is the cord cutting, because then it's completely absolved, it's done. And that's that last release, spiritually speaking, of that relationship, that connection. I wouldn't do it in an ongoing situation. Um, Cats meow, when you do a reverse spell, you can do a protection spell with small mirrors to bounce back those energies. Great idea. Yeah, definitely adding some mirrors that a person sends to you. Yeah, that's a really good idea as well. Um, Honestly, I don't really, if you notice, I don't talk too much about reversal spells and things like that, because I talk about the things that I do, or the things I'm interested in doing. Like, it's a new discovery for me, and I'm letting you guys in, sharing the experience. But that has not been my experience, honestly. I'm very not one fake IKEA wood. I am very grateful that I haven't had a lot of those experiences. I'm always perplexed, honestly, when I'm seeing so many people's like, I think, there's a fine line. Unless, then again, if you feel like you're constantly, someone's putting a hex on you or throwing some negative energy your way, I don't assume that person is always wrong. I do start to, because if you believe it's so, right? So my next question is, well, what's going on with you? Well, let's talk about your situation. If you're saying, well, no, I'm working on building myself and the people around me are jealous. Oh, it's a good point. Well, you don't need to be around those people. So let's talk about getting you away. Let's focus on, instead of expending so much energy blocking and reversing all the time, let's take the energy to remove you from this situation, to get you out of this negative toxic space. That would be something I would want to focus my energy on. But that's how I think, and that's the alchemy part, like taking a situation and turning it into something else, mental alchemy, versus I think a lot of people kind of get stuck in what's in front of them, and they focus just on that, where in my mind I'm focusing on, well, if I wasn't here, I would. If you weren't around me, I wouldn't even have to deal with this. Um, so I would focus on not being around. Like, get these people away from me, and let that be where I put my energy going forward, because that would be sort of the fix, the permanent fix. Because I mean, they'll just hate from the sidelines. They won't really know. They won't have access anymore. In my situation, I already cut off access to this particular family person in my family. However, or people. However, there's still that line, that bloodline. So for me, just to give you an idea of reversal work for in my unique situation as a family, it would involve blood magic. It would involve blood. In my reversal spell, I'd be using blood because that's the link. So a cord cutting, if I did some sort of cord cutting with that, I'd not probably, I would add blood to it as well, because there's that bloodline. So yeah, we're always connected through blood, but anything else is severed. Um, Let me see, where are we at? Okay, first instance, yeah, preventative magic. Oh, yeah, preventative magic is where it's at. Very true. Bronzite bounces back, and tourmaline absorbs the energy. Thank you. I don't know if I even have any bronzite. It's gotten so bad. I've collected so many crystals. I do forget what they are. Am I the only person? I don't know. I got to do better. I got to do better. But anyway, I have here. I got two crystal dictionaries with full color pictures, so I can always identify what they are. So if you ever have a crystal, go to. I think someone has actually done that over at a safe place for witches, the Discord channel. That's something. Post a picture. Say, do you know what this crystal is? I'll look it up in my book for you, and I'll find it. But yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, tourmaline absorbs the energy. Um, I know when my son comes to visit, I'll be sending him back with some of that, where he's at. I constantly throw, like, whenever he comes, I always gives him more crystals or something, an amulet, something for protection, just to keep him protected. He's in the military, you know. I'm gonna protect. I want to let you know you got the Hocus Pocus spell book and you love it. To me, it's funny yet exciting at the same time. It's become a coffee table book in my house. Like, I have it on the coffee table. I love that book. It is funny and it is exciting. It's interesting because as a practitioner, you're looking like, well, hold on, let me really look at this a little bit. There's little tidbits to just pick up and just read. It's very interesting. That's a really fun book to have, and I think it's a great coffee table book. I keep mines out on the table. I don't know if you remember this, but I had a huge fight with my aunt earlier this year and cut my mom, her other sisters out of her life. And now she has COVID. A part of me is like, karma. Well, see, well, that Aries energy, do you say this to other people? They'll be like, oh, I don't know. But to us, we're like, it sounds like karma to me. Like, we're a little bit more. um, I'm of the same mind. I'm of the same mind, Dylan. I'll just go with that. But yeah, I love that Hocus Pocus spell book. I do. And sometimes I'll just pick it up. Here's the thing, with a book like that, I like to pick it up and just read little bits as opposed to trying to read it from cover to cover, but it's fun to explore. That's all. Yeah, I do enjoy that book as well. But just to reiterate the books for my little mini haul, definitely something to grab. I think it has little tidbits, the rituals, the breakdowns, and things of that nature. This is a good book to add to your library. Um, this is a good journal for this time. Sometimes, people might consider this a time to do shadow work. I think if you are mentally stable, and that's not in a negative sense, like if you are emotionally stable, okay, proceed. But if you know you're not emotionally stable and you've got work, you've got kids, you got responsibilities, we'll just say that. And it's just not feasible, because if you go down that road, there's no fail safe for you to kind of go back to doing your regular mundane things. Tread lightly, and you might want to do that with a guided approach. I wouldn't go into that alone. So instead of that, maybe do this. This kind of, from the prompts, allow you to positively focus on what you're feeling based on spell work, but kind of taps into that. I think this is a good approach, doing a workbook like this. And then this little book here is really chock full, of some interesting things, just the little excerpts that I've read about decoding your dreams, lucid dreaming, and all that sort of stuff. It's a good thinking book, like makes you think. I like the exercises and how they stop and make you ponder a little bit about what you've read. So I think this is a good. So actually, all of them. I think all of them are really good for your witchy library. So I vote yes on all of these. Um, and again, it's five below, so they're $5. So it's not a. So if you get them and it doesn't, have the same effect, you only spend $5. So don't worry about it. So yes to all of these books. Do you think Aries could be more apt to creating and performing curses? In my experience, most like yes, I do. Yes. Um, Also, a new skill that was unlocked the day I. Oh gosh, no, I don't even want to talk about. Anyway, I'm smiling, but there's nothing to smile about. Um, yeah, yeah. Seriously, I think we can be very like powerful. Like when we, especially if it's tied, like if there's a love component, so it's someone you love and care deeply about, and someone's either yourself or someone else. And if we take that energy and push, a hex, curse, whatever onto someone, it will work. It will 100% work. I, it's gonna work. I also think Scorpio was another one sign. I'm not saying that other people can't hex and curse. Let's be clear, but I think it's very effective with these signs. I'm just saying. Uh, Let me see. I put the Dream book on my wish list. Okay, cool, Gemstones. I love book hauls. I love a good book haul too. I get excited about doing them. I'm like, ooh, what's going to be interesting? I have this book on the way, The Complete Tarot and Oracle Journal with metal closures and two ribbon markers. Ooh, I watched the review from another YouTuber. It's absolutely fantastic. Okay, I'll look into that. I haven't performed a curse yet, but I have some come up with a handful of them and shit me. I feel some things. Yes, let me tell you something. I think it's possible. That was when I talk about abilities unlock. I never thought about that. See, that wasn't a reversing or where something was done to me. It was my protective nature was done to someone I cared about. So, uh, yeah, that did work. It worked very. It worked. It happened twice, two separate times, like years apart. The very first time I had that experience, um, I spoke a charm out loud. In hindsight, I think I knew what I was doing, but there was a lot of emotion. Something had just happened. Um, all right, I'll just quick story. I was part of a home invasion. My home was broken into. I was in my home, and these three young men came in. I didn't know then, but they had weapons. They had guns. So even if they didn't intend to kill me, they would have killed me because I wasn't supposed to be. They didn't think I was in the house. So they were young, like 18 years old, young. So yeah, that happened. So I was hunched down in my kids' bathroom. This is when my kids were younger. They were in school, and my husband was at work, and I was at home, and I was doing some work. I was on a computer. I had a meeting, and I was in. The meeting had just wrapped. So I hear this noise of this knocking, and we lived in a big house. I'll just start there, big ass house. So it was like a landing, and I could see the window, the arch over the doorway, and there was glass on the side of the door, and I could see, if someone's at the door, and I kept seeing this guy like pacing, and then I see another guy looking. I was like, holy crap! I already knew instinctively what was happening. I knew this is going down. I grew up in a hood, so I know what that looks like. I was like, they're gonna break in. Called my husband. I was like, yeah, this is happening. They start ringing the doorbell, ringing the doorbell. They're banging on the door, and then I hear the thumping. They're kicking the door down. They're trying to kick the door down, and he says, get off the. He's like, okay, get off the phone and call the police now. I don't. Little do I know, this man has ran out of his work. Like he's barely. He ran. He told me, he said, I ran out of work. He's trying to hurry up and get home. And we're living like in Atlanta area. If you know anything about Atlanta, traffic is insane on a weekday. So, and this is like mid morning. So I go to my kid's bathroom, pull the shower curtain. I got scissors in my hand, and I have my phone in my hand. No, I have my phone up here. I'm trying to think. Do we have a house phone? No, I think I'm on a cell phone. I can't remember. I'm talking on the phone, and I got something else. I can't remember what else I grabbed. I have it in my lap, and I'm that was my weapon, the scissors, because that's all I could grab. Because they got through after the thumping, and they got through the door, and they were in the house. And then I heard the glass breaking, and I had French doors for the back of the house and off the kitchen to go out back, and I heard that too. So I knew there were several people. I knew from the window, but I don't know how many, but I know there's a lot, and I hear footsteps, and they're talking, and I'm on with a 911 operator, crouched down in my kid's bath, the shower curtains pulled, and I'm shaking and I'm freaking out. I got the scissors, so I'm like, this. This is scissors. And this is the phone. And I'm like there and I, and they're like, okay, just I'll stay on the phone with you. This guy was so cool and calm and just like made me feel hope. All I kept thinking is, this cannot be me. Like, I cannot die. Like, I don't want to die this by. No, I'm also thinking, do they know I'm here? My car was in the garage and my purse was on the kitchen table. Anyway, so he tells me, he's like talking low in my ear, hey, I just want you to know, there's a task force, because unbeknownst to me, there's a string of robberies occurring in the neighborhood, break-ins. So they had a task force there. This is a new development, big old houses in the Atlanta area. um, a lot of money was put into it. So, you kind of want people to stay. They were still building the houses. So I had a neighbor on one side, but the rest of the street was like empty. They were still building. There were empty lots. But most of the subdivision was built. But they were beautiful homes, and I remember I remember coming into this house, and I was like, "Oh my God, do we live here?" My husband had a job transfer, or no, he got a new job. I remember it was a big corporation he went to go work with. This was like a big deal, and we got to live in this big old house, and I was so happy until this. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm like this, and then he's like, they're there. He's like, I just want you to know, um, they're in the area, they're approaching, and I'm like, okay. But I hear these guys running around, grabbing. They're in all over my house, in my drawers, everything. They stole equipment, computers, because I was just on the computer. And then he says, okay. I said, I think they're gone. And I'm just sitting there shaking, freaking out. Like, he's talking to me. He's like, okay, the police are at your house. You can go. He said, where? I said, I'm upstairs. He said, you can go downstairs. So I said, are you sure? Because I'm no longer sure of anything. So anyway, long story short, I walk downstairs. I still have the scissors like this. Fun fact. So I come down, there is a police officer standing there. As I come down the steps, is like into a family room, and then a kitchen area, and then a kitchen. So he's standing like in between the kitchen area and the family room, and he goes for his gun because I'm holding a knife like this, coming down the steps, because I never dropped my position. My arms, shoulders were like achy because I was so tense the whole time. Anyway, so he goes for his gun, and I was like, and then he sees me. And by the way, I'm shaking. At that point, the shakes, adrenaline, all that, you get it. So there's this moment where, I don't even remember what was said, but eventually I put the scissors down. So now I'm coming into myself again, and I said something, because now I'm mad. I was mad. I was pissed. I was afraid, and then now I'm pissed. And my purse is gone. By the way, it was a designer. I'm not really a designer person, and that was like my designer bag that was just recently gifted to me, because things were going well, and I finally could have something like that, and they stole it. They took it. So anyway, I said some words. I said some things, and I knew the intention behind. I won't say what I said. And there was an accident. There was a chase. There was a task force in the area. They chased them. So about the time I said that, They had just wrapped around a telephone pole their car. One of them died. One of them was injured. I don't know if he lived or not. I didn't want to follow. I didn't care. And the other, he went to jail. My items were returned. No, that was part of what I said. I remember saying it 3 times. Part of that was bring it back, bring it back. And I got my laptop back with their blood on it. I got my purse back with it ripped because I don't know what happens in an accident, but it was ripped. And there was blood on that too. So, and that was what they gave me back. So that's that story. Horrible, right? Um, whew, that was a terrifying experience. I had to go to therapy for that because every time the doorbell rang, I had a full on physical panic attack. Like I could not pull it together. I don't know how. I mean, kudos. And it's funny because I remember going to like a dinner party like months afterwards, and I talked about it, and I remember the person saying to me, "Oh, because I just would have went and got my gun, and I would have did this," and I was like, "Well, there was no time." There you I was like, "Well, first of all, so do you walk around your house strapped?" Like, I don't. There was no time to go get anything. They were already in the house, and I realized it, and, I just went and I hid because instinctively, I knew I didn't have anything other than these scissors, and by the way, I was prepared. If they came in that bathroom, I would start stabbing. That was my what I was gonna do to fix it. Oh my gosh, but yeah, that was terrifying experience, but that is the first time I realized the power of doing that, of putting a curse on someone, and energy like that, what it could do. And I know it wasn't a coincidence because years later, when it was someone I loved and someone did something to them, I did that. And a same outcome happened with them. So that's why I know it's not a coincidence. So we have to be very careful. Some of us. I'm not saying that anyone's capable. I don't know, but I know from experience with other fire signs, we have Aries, but certain signs you have to be very careful. Um, be sure that that's what you want to do before you curse somebody. I'll just say that. Oh, thank you, Dylan. I'm sorry I had to go through that too. And I went to a therapist, and he was and the first time I had a male therapist, and he said a lot of good things, like not good, like things that helped me to understand better. And I didn't need medication. Like I was thinking, oh, am I gonna have to take something for anxiety because I'm freaking out? No, I was able. It was talk therapy work for this experience, and I was able to, move past that as much as one can move past that. Uh, but yeah, I needed help with that. That was terrifying ordeal for me to go through, and I did, and we moved shortly after that. There was no way in hell I was going to continue to live in that place. By the way, I should probably tell you, it was a ring of robberies. They weren't the only ones doing it, and possible it was. I would find out then several of my neighbors had been robbed more than once. So now there was a threat of, will someone new come back? Um, yeah, that was tricky, tricky time. But that unlocked something. That tragic experience unlocked something else that I realized that I could do, and I could do very well. I'm not very proud of that, by the way. That's not something I'm happy about. None of that, not that how I learned, but how I can do it. But I know that if I curse someone, it will be effective. I know 100%. So I'm very cautious about that because I know I get pissed off and I get really angry. I like to wait until that anger has subsided, and then I'll try, like, if I'm arguing with somebody or whatever the situation is, I always try to take a beat, like a day if I can, to I wouldn't even say calm down, but to become a little bit more rational minded before I do any work. I don't immediately run and just throw something on somebody. For that, well, for a lot of one, because I'm a relatively mature person, I realize sometimes you're in the heat of the moment, you don't act accordingly. Um, And I don't think there was ever a time I was like that. I've always approached spirituality, magic with some respect. So I don't immediately go into that. But I mean, after a while, if I can rationalize it a day later, yeah, I might do something. I may not. I've learned temperatures. You don't have to go so heavy with the curses. I can be very specific with the curse. So it doesn't end in their death or something like that. I can be very specific, I'm not wishing death on people. And cats meow. I just got my Amazon orders for them, but one of them has my old style look chest, one small and the other large that I bought for my crystals. Plus, I have more herbs and got my herb books too. Yeah, so first of all, that's awesome. Oh yeah, this design, yeah. Guys, get this book titled 2023 Witch's Diary. I got mine today. I will look that up. You were in touch with your warrior spirit gemstones. I think so. I would try to take a nap because that really helps me figure out how to curse or not or anything really. Agreed. Sleep. Honestly, think about it, a lot of times, speaking about that book, things come to you in a dream. You can have an experience. It could be indirect, but you know what overall that message might mean. Sometimes, I think it's important to just kind of just like take a beat if you can, take a moment and reflect, and then decide if it's necessary. Prime example, when we were talking about the hex earlier, I think that was actually put on me. Um, and it would be family for it to work because I have so much protection around me. Doesn't make any sense. But a bloodline is a little bit different. And why the heck would I be protecting myself against my own blood? I wasn't thinking like that because, as I've said before, I don't think like that. Not how my brain thinks, not my experiences has it led me to that. But alas, here we are. Here I am. Um, but I've been thinking for several days, and there's been some other events that are tied to other close family members that these people, other family members, have done stuff to. And I've thought and I've thought and I've thought on how I want to approach this. And I've arrived. And I don't take pleasure in what I don't take pleasure. That is not this, but they have to be stopped. And sometimes to stop people is to create so much chaos in their own lives, they're no longer causing chaos in others because their own chaos consumes them. So that's what I'll focus on. I'll just say that. That's the energy I'll focus on for them. I usually feel lighter after I wake up from that nap. The original energy was heavy. Yeah, yeah. But I don't know. You said it's gemstones. You said the warrior. Yeah. So like to me, that protective state. I'm like, but I'm like that, like in general, when I'm out. Okay, so prime example, if I'm and I've been tested, if I'm in a public situation and I see someone, I don't like bullies. And if I see someone I appears to be being bullied or tortured in some way or harassed, and I see that either if they're standing up for themselves and it doesn't seem to be effective, I will join forces. Like, and I know that's putting myself in a dangerous situation depending on what's happening. But at the same time, it feels like impossible not to do something or say something. That always throws me off when I see people. In doing something could be calling the police, by the way. Um, Physically, if it's just it's just you're not going to make a dent in the situation. It may just mean calling the police, um, or hanging back to help the person afterwards, whatever it comes, whatever you can do. Throwing something if you can, taking your car and hitting something to move somebody out the way, whatever the situation is. Um, it might not mean you go, speak to the bully or the offender, but there's other ways. But it's hard for me not to do anything. I can't just ignore it and be like, oh, that's their problem, or worse, take out my phone and record it. That's weird to me. I don't even understand. Like, I don't want to see someone being hurt, so I want to help, whatever that looks like. So anyway, that's how I am. Oh no, wait, I'm thinking of doing something on Kanye, not really cursing because he's not mentally well. Oh my gosh, he is I at this point, his, mind is so discombobulated, and I think that, I don't know. I don't know, deep rest. But the problem with deep rest, putting that deep rest could be a coma, which means there might have been a traumatic event, uh, that put him in a coma. Like, I just think he needs deep rest. But deep rest can be translated into so many things. So I don't know how this guy's story is going to end, but I think that's the ultimate solution: deep rest. Like I said, that whatever form that takes, I'm not going to speak that out, but that's what I think would fix him: deep rest. But y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm making up. Yeah, Kim needs to get full custody 100%. Yes. Would you want that person? Okay, just ask yourself this question. Would you want Kanye West to watch your children even for an hour in his current state? Even at worst, he would just probably ignore them. But what he would be doing with them not in the, like, caring that they're in, an earshot, what he would say would be the biggest issue for me. The type of things he would say. Um, yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other thing to break that guy down. Part of me, I'm going to say this. I've been toying with this. I don't know for sure if I'm going to do it, but you know how you see those YouTube videos where they spend like 2 to 3 hours on a freaking deep dive? That is my speed, and I might humor that one day. I don't know if it's something I can do all the time, but like occasionally, like a full deep dive, like break it down with resources because I like a good research project. So I don't know, going into 2023 is something I'm toying with, but I'll let y'all know more. All right. So thank y'all for watching. Thank you for talking to me on an iceberg video. I don't know. Maybe we can talk about Area 51 a little bit. Go do our own little deep dive. 2 to 3 hour deep dive video of all of this information and, screenshots and inserted videos and, me breaking it down a little bit further. I mean, I'm up for that. That's my jam right there, getting into like being the person doing. I don't know if I necessarily consume a lot of it, a little bit, but I like the research behind putting that together. Anyway, thank you. I will try to hit. Yeah, it stopped raining here, but it is really gloomy, so I kind of dig that today. So thanks for watching. Don't forget the like button if you haven't already. Thank you, and subscribe if you haven't already. And have a great Saturday. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.